How's it going, folks? It's Keaton here, and in this video we're going over the prospecting and outreach system that helped me get to my first $10,000 month with my social media marketing agency. Right now we're pushing about $70,000 months, and I still use some of these tactics to help me get more clients in the door. I did a demo with someone who was able to book them on our SaaS offer, and it came from what I'm about to show you in this video. So really exciting. I really hope you enjoy the video. Honestly, this is probably one of the most valuable videos I've ever made. So the first thing we need to cover about outreach is what not to do and what most people get wrong. So the first thing most people get wrong is they don't act human when they're doing their outreach. They completely forget that they're just a human and they need to talk to other humans. There's no such thing as business to business. It's person to person. You need to remember that you're talking to another person. So that's the first problem. The second one is that there's no focus on the long term. All these like cold calling, cold messaging gurus, they're not focusing on helping you build a platform that will give you leverage over time. So those are the two problems. The things to focus on, which are the opposite of these problems, are being a human, building relationships with key people in your niche or in your industry, and then lastly, making sure that you are trying to build leverage through a platform, which we'll teach you how to do in today's video. So when you're a beginner, doing all of those at the same time can actually sound really daunting, which I understand, but I'm gonna show you a simple way to do it where you can make sure you're getting all of the things you need to remember in there and that it's not so overwhelming that you don't wanna execute on it every single day. This is 7 steps. It's actually 8 steps, but we're going to start with step 0, which is to pick a niche. Picking a niche is so important. If you don't reach out to a specific type of business or have a specific service that you're offering, then it's just really not going to be very compelling. And you're not going to have as much success with your outreach and prospecting because people won't pay attention to as much. It's just simply the way it is. And when I say niche, it could be a specific industry like my agency that services orthodontists, or it could be like my friend who just does SEO. He does SEO for all local businesses. And because he only has that one service that he offers, he's able to, pitch his local business market is much bigger than my just orthodontist market. But as a beginner, I would definitely recommend starting with just one niche, one industry, one service, and then eventually you can move into kind of a broader market if that feels right. If you're interested on how to pick a niche, I'm going to release a video on that soon, so make sure you stay tuned, subscribe, all that good stuff. Now, the first thing you need to do once you've picked your niche, so this is our step number 1, is to pick a platform to do your outreach on. And literally any platform will do, but there's different advantages to each one of them. So Facebook, I would say, is the most versatile. So Facebook is definitely my first choice. Instagram is probably a good runner-up. It's not as versatile though. All you can do is pretty much DM and then have your own posts on there. And then the last option I would choose here is honestly LinkedIn. I think it's not very human at all. It's very spammy. I actually deleted my LinkedIn account because I just hated it so much. TikTok is also an option. It's very good for building a platform. It's not quite as good for like direct outreach and like DMing people. I could be wrong on that. I haven't used TikTok as much as some of these other ones, but you could apply what we're learning today to TikTok for sure. And another thing to keep in mind is it just depends on your industry. Like if you're working with e-commerce brands, Instagram's going to be really good. But if you're working with local businesses, Facebook is probably going to be better. If you're working with consultants or something like that, maybe LinkedIn is going to be your choice. So just keep that in mind. Your industry matters here, and some prospecting methods work better for certain industries. For the purposes of this video though, we're gonna go with Facebook because it's my personal favorite and I think it's the best for beginners. So once you've picked your platform, that brings us to step 2, which is to set up what's called a profile funnel. Now, Josh Gavin's the one who originally called it that, and we'll hop in my computer here and show you my Facebook account so you can see what I'm talking about. When you come to my Facebook page here, you can see I've got a nice picture and I've got this cover photo of my company here. And then I've also got this intro here, guaranteed new patients for orthodontists, ask me how, and then a link to my website. And then I'm going to link to my website here. I can also add a featured image here. In the past, I've had a featured image that's like, check us out on YouTube. And then some people check that out. Another good idea is to look at this on the mobile app and make sure you know what it looks like when someone clicks to your profile. But the idea here with your profile funnel is making sure that when somebody comes here, they're like, oh, wow, this person looks really professional. They look like they know what they're talking about. And I know exactly what they do. That's crucial. Let's look at a couple other examples. I'll just pull some up and we can look at what we like and what we don't like about these profile funnels. All right, so this is a guy I was looking up the other day because he does done for you appointment booking, I believe. And you can see his cover photo says, want to learn how to scale to 7 figures fast, join our free Facebook page. Coachingsales.com is this logo here. He's got a nice picture of him and his wife or maybe girlfriend here. And then his intro here, he's got investor, coaching sales, 75 plus businesses to $1 million run rates in 24 months. You next, join our Facebook group. And then he has his business linked here, where he's from, where he's followed from, and then he also has the link here to his group. This is really smart with the group. He's feeding people into here, then he's nurturing them in the group. He's also taking them here, capturing the pixel data, and then he's going to follow up with ads probably, which is very smart. The other thing to consider with profile funnels, guys, is what they're posting. So a good rule of thumb is like 50% personal, 50% business. If you scroll down here, you see he's like this picture, which is a nice picture of him and his partner. But then he's also telling like a cool story, which is very compelling. And when someone comes to Facebook, they're going to be like, oh, wow, this is really interesting. I like that. This one's another business one. This is kind of a funny one. So you can scroll down and kind of get an idea of what he's posting and whether you like it or not. Let's take a look at one more of these. All right, this last one is Trey Cockrum, who I've worked with in the past. As you can see, when you come here, you've got like, this is really nice. He doesn't have an image up here, which is kind of like a counterculture thing. I think he's probably had one in the past like this, yeah. But it's almost like so many people do this that this is a little bit cooler, and it's smart. Trey's really good at that kind of like subtle lifestyle marketing. Anyway, he's got founder consulting blueprint, rapidly scaling coaching businesses and getting beginners started. And then he's got his Instagram, YouTube, and website linked there. And then when you scroll down, he's really good at like posting stuff every single day. And really, again, selling that like lifestyle or like philosophy side of business, which is originally what attracted me to him, actually. And if you click here, you can see he's got his story going on. So that's awesome too. Okay, great. So now that we have a niche, a place to advertise for that niche, a platform, and then we also have a profile funnel and some posts on that profile funnel. Actually, let's talk about those posts for a little bit longer. A lot of people can get hung up on what to post. It's really not that hard as long as you focus on providing as much value as possible. That should be your guiding star. Every single thing you post, someone should come away from it like, wow, I can't believe he gave that away for free. That's really good. Wow, that's a really cool nugget about business that I hadn't heard before, and I'm grateful that he shared that. I'm gonna follow him, I'm gonna friend him, reach out for more information. And the other thing I should mention about your profile funnel, guys, is you should get rid of anything that's like super political, super personal, super unprofessional on your page. Just delete it. Just be like, I'm just treating Facebook as a completely business-oriented thing now. And it's actually really freeing when you do that, because who knows, your grandma might comment or like your post, and that's great. But once you start treating social media as just a business place, then you stop wasting as much time on it and actually starting to make money from social media instead of social media making money from you. All right, so once you've got all of that sorted, the next thing you need to do is start joining Facebook groups inside your niche. And if you're using a platform that doesn't allow you to do that, then you're just going to skip this step. But LinkedIn and Facebook have both of these. So let's check out on my computer. Let's say I go in here and search up orthodontist. And then I come to groups. So you're gonna see TAD and orthodontics, orthodontic cases went wrong, myofunctional, like all of these are very, I don't know how to describe this, not very like business oriented groups. So I probably would ignore them. But this one, orthodontic pearls, I know this is an event inside the orthodontic world. So I'm gonna come here and I'm gonna click join group, and it's gonna ask me a couple questions. Orthodontist or an orthodontist or an orthodontic resident, work for multiple orthodontists. And I honestly think it's best to just be honest in here. Sometimes they'll let you in. Even if you don't answer the questions, they'll just approve you. I've had that happen to me before, but go in and answer these questions as honestly as you can. So this one, they're probably not gonna let me in, but the fact they have 8,000 people in here, I highly doubt all of them are orthodontists, to be honest. They probably have some people that work for some. So they might let me in, they might not. But once I get into the Facebook group, let's go check out. And then another one I've heard about recently is called Dental Nachos. Go to groups again here on the side and go ahead and click join on that. Probably gonna ask me some questions here. Please add your email so we can share nacho news and toppings with you. Cool. All right, and just like that, we've joined 2 groups that are full, or maybe just 1 group that are full of orthodontists or dentists or other people in our niche that we can start advertising to. So you can actually just go in there and start spamming links to your website or telling people to sign up. The best way to go about this, again, is just provide as much value as possible. So when I was first starting out, I was going to that first 0 to 10K. I went in an orthodontic Facebook group and I posted and I said, hey, this is something that's working really well for one of my clients. We're using this lookalike audience strategy to target people on Facebook. Facebook and like kind of made it sound a little bit fancier than it is. Like we don't do lookalike audience strategies anymore, but I had someone reach out and become a client just from that post. The other option is if you have some money and like the group admins seem nice, you could reach out to them and say, hey, can I pay you, $500 to post something in your group about my business? And they might say yes. And if you're watching this video, guys, it's likely this isn't the first time you've heard of this strategy. There's so many things you can do with Facebook groups that are amazing, but the issue is a lot of people don't actually pay attention to it and don't do it because they put the word dental in, or they put the word orthodontist in, and then they don't find any good groups, or they're all foreign people that aren't in their country, and so they're upset by that. Like, you just have to try, first of all, tons of different ways of trying to find these groups, different keyword variations, just trying to see if other people have groups. It took me quite a while to actually find some good groups to join, which I was then able to find some clients through. So don't give up if the first ones you see aren't very good. It's just going to rank it by the most people in it. You're looking for a healthy group, not just the one with the most people in it. And then the other thing to keep in mind is in Russell Brunson's One Funnel Away challenge, he has like all these people that talk about what they would do if they need to rebuild their business from day 1 to day 30. They completely lost everything, what they would do. And guess what, guys? When I went through, I read like 8 of these different plans, and almost all of them said join Facebook groups, start talking to people in those Facebook groups, providing value, and becoming a friendly face in that group. And it's just the reality of how it works. People love this stuff. It's always going to work. Some people will be suspicious. There's going to be some people who are more sophisticated and like understand what you're doing. But as long as you just give without expectation of return, you're not going to have an issue. And a quote I heard the other day from Gary Vee that I actually really liked was, the moment you give with an expectation of return, you lose. So you just have to give. And I promise you, if you give in the right communities and in the right way, you're going to get a client from this method. All right, awesome. So now the next step, since we've joined these groups, we're starting to provide value, posting some things potentially, definitely commenting and trying to be as helpful as possible to every person that posts something in Facebook in that group and is asking a question. While at the same time that we're doing all those things and posting on our Facebook page, we're going to go to this members section inside of each group, and inside the members section you can see all of the people in here and you can send them friend requests. Now, don't go crazy and add like 500 people in your industry in one day. Instead, I would come in here and click add friend. And then once they accept your friend request, then you go in and start talking to them. Now, technically on Facebook, you're not supposed to friend people that you don't know in person, but literally everybody doesn't follow that rule. So this isn't an issue. It won't be an issue for you as long as you don't go crazy and start adding a bunch of people. And eventually, once you start adding enough people in the same industry as you, then you're going to get suggested friends in that industry, and you can start building up to maybe 50 friend requests a day if you really want to go that heavy, which you don't have to. So now the question of the century is, now that I've put some good stuff on my profile, I've posted something in a group, I'm becoming a friendly face, how do I actually message these people in a way that will get them to respond to me? And this is when we have to go back, guys. Remember, we're building relationships and we're trying to be as human as possible. So I'm not going to give you a script. I'm not going to give you exactly how you should reach out, because only you know that, and only you are going to vibe with the clients that you're going to keep long term. The best clients I have are the ones that I've brought on and they vibed with one of my team members and they've stayed on for a really long time. And so you want to kick this relationship off on the right foot by starting to talk to them in a way that's natural for you and that is natural for them. So if it doesn't feel natural to say, hey, how are you? We just helped an orthodontist do this and this and this. Make sure you click this link and join our free webinar. Like, that's not helpful to anyone, and no one's going to answer it because it's so spammy. And what you should do instead is reach out and start asking people to help you with your research when it comes to marketing for their industry or what they've tried in the past or whatever else it is. When I started reaching out to orthodontists, this is what I did. I said, hey, I'm running an informal survey about marketing for orthodontists. What's your biggest marketing headache? That sparked a genuine conversation, and I was able to close, again, like 8 to 10 clients from that, build up a big audience of people inside my Facebook community, people that followed me, people that liked my posts, people that I messaged almost every day. And guys, that's how I bootstrapped to $10,000 a month. That's all it really takes. One more thing I should mention is when you're talking to these people and you're using this research method of kind of having a conversation with them before you start pitching them, one of the best ways, hands down, to start people off on the right foot with you and really help your company progress forward is to send them long form video content to provide value. So if I'm having a conversation with an orthodontist and they say, hey, I really have a question about this part of marketing, I'll be like, oh, I made a YouTube video about that. Let me send it over to you. They watch the YouTube video, they're like, wow, this guy seems nice. He seems like he knows what he's talking about. And video does that in a way that no other form of content really can. Not only do they get to see your face in the video, but they also get to see your personality, and they can, you know, put their phone over here while they're doing something else. And it's more likely they're going to watch a video than they would read something, for example. Alrighty, folks, that's it for this video. Hopefully it was really helpful. Those 7 steps again in order, well, really 8 steps. Step 0 is pick a niche. Then number 1 is to pick a platform to reach out to them. Number 2 is to create a profile funnel. Number 3 is to start posting valuable content on that profile. Number 4 is to join Facebook groups in your industry. Number 5 is going to be to start friending people in those Facebook groups. Number 6 is to message them in a very human way. And then number 7 is to use long form video content so that they trust you and you start your relationship off on the right foot. And the reason this method works so well is because it's so human. It focuses on building relationships, and best of all, it helps you build leverage so that you can post almost any time and start having people interested in your products and services. Thanks so much for tuning into this video, guys, and we will see you in the next one.